And a howdy. Welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. And welcome back to the Radical Wasteland podcast.
Hey. It's been a minute, guys. Good to see everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. Greg the Ghoul here with my human companion, Harris. Always glad to see you guys out here in the Wasteland. We definitely hate mornings here in the Wasteland, but we are here today. Second cup of coffee already. Got a lot going on here. It's been a minute, first off, so apologies for not being able to keep to the regular schedule lately. Things have been a little busy on our end, but it is so good to see everybody. Thank you all so much for being here.
A good busy, huh?
Very good busy. I really can't complain. I have I'm going to take 30 seconds to brag here, and then we're going to continue on with everything as we were. I had a show that I wrote and produced and am acting in that is I'm taking on a bit of a tour at the moment. We were in New York for a week at the New York City Fringe Festival, and we had an outstanding run there for the week, and which sadly conflicted with what would have been our last recording date. But we kicked ass. We took names. We took home some of the top awards completely by surprise. And we're back now for the Hollywood Fringe Festival. I've got a whole other show that I'm producing and working on at the moment, but I will be taking that original show, Three Can Keep a Secret. I'll be taking that to the OG Fringe, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this August. So, yeah, so now I'm gearing up for all of that. But we had a great run in New York, had a great time. I'm super proud of our cast and crew. And yeah, it was... So, I apologize for not being here, but it was, I appreciate Harris giving me the flexibility and the time away to be able to do that. And especially with all the things going on, within the Fallout world right now. I mean, Harris, we got so much to talk about because it's been a minute.
I'm so excited. You've obviously given me a little grace period as well, thankfully. I know it's kind of been hectic. Sorry for, of course, the hectic schedule, but I've been kind of in the middle of a move or the process of a move. So, yeah, you know what? It's been nice having a little bit of leeway for a little bit. But speaking of Edinburgh, we're going to totally, over the next few months, try to bully David and Melvin into coming all the way up a couple hours north.
Oh, yeah. I'll definitely
get all the UK folk out there for you.
Yeah, I'll take lots of pictures with all the fans and everything if you guys come up and see me in Edinburgh. It'd be great. So, yeah, the Stanley's Quest, David, everybody here. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us this morning, Modest Traveler. Good to see you.
Yeah, howdy.
Yeah. So, where do we want to begin? I think let's talk about the video games first, because the TV stuff in and of itself. So let's talk video games quick.
Okay, so bring up the roadmap.
Yeah, let's talk about the roadmap. Because, of course, recently, I think a lot of folks didn't even realize that we weren't even broadcasting, because if you are like many folks I know, you've been playing the new remaster of Elder Scrolls Oblivion, which just dropped with 2 days notice?
Oh, yeah.
It just dropped out of nowhere. Yeah. It's like people are back in 2006 again. It's kind of crazy. Like, it's 20 years old, and the game still can... just hold people's attention like you wouldn't believe. How's it been going back to that?
It's been so good. Have you had any time to actually dive in at all, or has it just been too crazy right now?
Bro, I have not had a chance to do anything, unfortunately. I mean, I have not had a chance to play games in a while. My PlayStation has been collecting dust the last couple of months, and my PC is currently buried under stuff that I've got to move around from location to location. So I will eventually be able to get back and play video games again, but it hasn't been recently.
Oh, I haven't had a bunch of time to do it. Yesterday, I thought was going to be like a big move day, and ended up not okay, well, we're not doing any podcast today. We're not really doing a whole bunch. Maybe I can play some Oblivion. I played it for 3 or 4 hours yesterday before we ended up doing a bunch of magic and stuff later in the night. And I think I have to start the save file over. I got vampirism in a bad part, and I don't think I can get out of it without screwing myself up in a couple different ways.
Oh, boy.
And I think I have to go back a few hours, and I'm kind of disappointed about that one. But the game's freaking beautiful, man. It's so good. I was 7 when it came out, so I started with Skyrim whenever I was like 12, and like, yeah, like that was like the perfect little middle school game.
Yeah. No, that's the perfect age to start that game. Absolutely.
Right after that, what do you go back to? Oblivion. And I haven't played Oblivion probably 2 times, and it was definitely high school way back in the day, or late middle school. And so that's been 12 years, 14 years, something like that. And oh my God, it's still just, because I never played it like 1,000% through like I did a Skyrim. So just to see it how it is now is just so nice. All the differences are fun too. That Adam Fall's been nice too. There's a couple little games coming out.
I wanted to ask you about Adam Fall. How is that? How was it? How does it feel?
That I've played even less of so far, but I've probably played 4 or 5 hours total still. I haven't been able to dive back into it because freaking Oblivion came out right after that. So I was like, well, priorities. Sorry, Adam Fall. But it was damn good. It's really interesting. I think you'd like it. It's slower paced, much more slower paced. It feels like, I guess not everything from the UK or British like media wise tends to be slower paced, but it's more deliberate, if that makes sense.
No, I get that.
And not making zany jokes everywhere. It's like very focused, I guess.
Cool.
But it's fun.
I love that. Well, I know that I'm excited to check it out at some point. But I feel like all of our time is going to get sucked up real quick. There's no official announcement. There's no guarantee, like that this is going to happen, but there is rumors and a roadmap, and the roadmap, especially with Oblivion dropping, the roadmap seems to be eerily accurate right now about
all these highlighted points have already been released as well.
Okay. Yeah. And now actually you can highlight the Oblivion remaster because that's out now. Yeah, and the that's insane. But I think the next thing that we're going to see, guys, is a Fallout 3 remaster, because that's right there on the list.
Yeah.
That's right there.
I guess the order hasn't been, obviously, because Oblivion Remaster is a little bit different on the order here. All these things have come out, and they've been reported by a bunch of different YouTubers, a bunch of different people, a bunch of different outlets, so on and so forth. And this is just us talking about it now. But just look at it. The evidence is there. Obviously, it's not 100,000%. All of these dates are changed because of COVID and strikes and so on and so forth. And the continuing strike with SAG and
in the voiceover video game industry, specifically because of AI, and that's like the main issue they can't get to resolve right now. There are a couple of studios that have been coming to agreements, but by and large, the video game industry is still struck at the moment. I need to close my glass door, my porch door here, because the lawnmowers are outside. Give me 1 second.
Well, I mean, just looking at these, y'all, like, obviously we might not get Fallout Remastered next. Probably, if we had to guess, if it's just assuming, so it might be making an ass out of you and me, but we're going to assume anyway here. Elder Scrolls Online, the next expansion would be my best guess, would be what would be next. But kind of within that kind of realm, I feel like there will be a little bit of an ebb and flow of these projects.
Yeah. I feel like, I also feel like that there's a lot of thirst for the Fallout 3 remaster. Everybody's been kind of going crazy for it from what I've seen. So I feel like that there is demand. That said, though, I mean, I'd be down for pretty much anything on that list. That all look pretty awesome. The Doom expansions, the whole thing. So
Dishonored 3 and pumped.
Dishonored 3. Oh, I love Dishonored 1 and 2, dude. Those are both fantastic games.
A little steampunk. Life is good.
Yeah.
If you had to guess, I know this is kind of Quest was just bringing up how it does kind of block us off just a little bit, but while it's blocking us off for just a second and we're talking over it, if you had to guess the next timeline of 3 of these, what would you think the next 3 projects out of these would be?
Well, we didn't get Fallout Wastelanders. What is Project Hibiki? Do we know, was that identified at all?
Which one?
Project Hibiki, right under Fallout Worlds, Fallout 76, and FY21E.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's the only one that's not highlighted up there as well. Let's see.
Yeah, exactly. I'm willing to bet that Wastelanders is dead because it's 2025 and that hasn't dropped. Project Hibiki, I don't know what that is, but I feel like if we are looking at what they're going to drop next, well, Project Kestrel, has that been identified?
That I think that one has. Okay. Hibiki is the internal code name for the game that later became Hi-Fi Rush. So it'll be a sequel to Hi-Fi Rush, it seems.
Okay. So yeah, if that's been released, so that should be highlighted at that point too. And then we find out what Project Kestrel is.
Oh, it's a code name used for a new massive MMO being developed by ZeniMax Online Studios. No details have been announced yet.
Got it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if those details haven't been announced, I imagine that for an MMO, there's got to be a lot of ramp up time.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're just going to drop that out of the blue.
And if they have Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online to play with and focus on right now, I wouldn't think that's their top priority item.
Unless they're developing it for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And then Project Platinum. I feel like I think they're working on Elder Scrolls 6, but I don't think we're going to get that until much closer to 2030 at this point. I feel like that we're going to get the remaster. I feel like the Fallout 3 remaster makes the most sense.
I think so too. That's kind of why I asked the question, because I think probably like an Elder Scrolls Online expansion, Fallout 3 remaster, and then pick and take, just whatever's actually on the docket, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the Fallout 3 remaster and will be the next thing on the docket, and just like Oblivion, they don't have to give it much fanfare because it'll hit, and then everybody will just and swarm right to it. It's already a proven IP, you know. And the only other thing that's going to do is make the cries for Fallout 5 even louder.
Oh, God. Season 2, Fallout 5, New Vegas remaster after that, because there's already a big old group of people that are like, why are you doing a Fallout 3 remake before you're doing a Fallout New Vegas remake? Well, I guess I get the argument because they did Oblivion before Morrowind or Daggerfall or so on and so forth, but nonetheless, it makes sense, I guess, to go Fallout 3 because that is Bethesda's first Fallout game. So that makes sense just internally, but whoo, come on, bring us the goodness. I'm ready to be back in DC and be shooting at some swamp
creatures.
Everybody.
Well, yeah. So big stuff happening in the video games. Awesome to see it. I think the more pressing, and I agree with you. I think that the Fallout 3 remaster is probably going to just drop out of nowhere here within the next year, and it's just gonna I think they're gonna give everybody time to get through Oblivion again, and then bam, just drop that on us, and it'll just be all that good old home cooking, and next thing you know, forget it. It's that's what everybody's locked in on for a while, and it's just another bones for the dogs to gnaw on while Fallout 5 and Elder Scrolls 6 get cooked up, you know, because they can't make these games overnight. But you know, again, it's testimony to the staying power of these games. Where if they just fix the graphics and a couple of bugs and do a re-release, a new current generation re-release, suddenly everybody is all over it again, and everything old is new again. You know, that's just amazing.
Is it going to be called the Skyrim effect? Because it would make sense.
It would. It really would make sense to call it that. But we have so much information about season 2 of Fallout to get through. Man, if you are into spoilers, you are eating good right now, especially because they've been shooting here in LA. They have people have been posting all kinds of behind the scene looks on the set. First and foremost, though, it looks like season 2 has just wrapped.
All right.
Okay, we've got reports from multiple sources on set, multiple artists involved. This is from the lead prosthetic makeup artist. The first post there is from the lead prosthetic makeup artist. This is the guy who's responsible for making Walton Goggins look like the Ghoul.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he said he's wrapped out, and it's gonna be
something else.
Something else. Yeah, a lot of folks are thinking that. And actually, I should say that Kyle MacLachlan recently stated in an interview that he's wrapped out, and he said there's a couple more weeks to shoot on the show. And this interview came out about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I don't know when they did the interview, But he said there was a couple of weeks left of filming, and it's not impossible for them to hit a end of 2025 release. I'm willing to bet with slippage and everything else, we're probably going to see Q1 2026 at this point. That's my guess. If we're going to take a pool, we should actually do a betting pool. I think we should do a betting pool. When do we think we're going to see Fallout Season 2 drop? I say Q1 2026. Harris, do you say before or after that?
I'm going to say Q2. I just think Q1 is a little Fallout. They saw how big it was. They kind of dropped it. Didn't they drop it in? They dropped it in April last time, I believe.
True.
I feel like in April, kind of. Oh, Quest is with you. He's saying February or March. March. If it's Q1, it's gonna be March. I think it's gonna be just close enough to summer where they can kind of spread it out. I would assume they're gonna do a weekly drop as well instead of all at once.
Oh yeah, no. For any of the big prestige shows, they're doing weekly drops. Although Andor seems to be trying a new format, which I have to get caught up and actually finish watching. But I'm taking the next couple of days to just have a little bit of a vacation before things get crazy. So I'm gonna get caught up on Andor during that time. That is my goal. So
the first 3 episodes are great. I haven't seen the next yet.
I got it. Yeah, they just dropped last night. Yeah,
on Tuesday.
Yeah. February 14th, 2026, Valentine's Day. You ever watch Ghostbusters 2? When's gonna be when's the end of the world? February 14th, 2020, or it was like 2000 something. It's like Valentine's Day. Bummer, man.
Bummer, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, that would be a good release date as well, though. Fallout, they could play off of that in a lot of ways.
They could have a lot of fun with that. There's a lot of good little romantic songs in the collection of gunfighter ballads and other jazz samples that they use. So
Season 2, Episode 1 starts off with Nick Valentine just walking through, and you're like, how the hell did we get him here? But you know what? He's a fifth.
Why not? You know? So, but yeah, we have. I've seen, at least, getting back to the topic at hand, I've seen at least 3 or 4 different posts going around. Big thanks to the Fallout TV show subreddits. This one is FOTV for compiling all this information. Yeah, the actor that plays Dane also said that they have wrapped out and finished up. May the 4th just upset Star Wars. Okay, so Peter says it'll drop May the 4th next year. All right, so David's with me on Q1. Peter says Q2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
and yeah, I feel like, and then Quest is with me for Q1. Nobody says Q4 2025, huh?
No, there's too much post-production work that has to go into it, if I had to guess. There's possible
going to be a shitload of post-production, although I'm sure they've been editing and turning things around even as
totally.
Yeah, but we are going to talk about a couple of the things that we know are probably going to be very intensive visual effects that they're going to have to get through and finish processing. We'll get to talking about that in a minute. But yeah, we've seen from a number of folks, makeup artists, crew members, actors. This is the actor that plays Stephanie.
Okay.
Yeah, or Steph. Yeah, she's wrapped out. Melody Ranch. Where is Melody Ranch? Because now I want to know.
It can't be far. Let me Google. Melody Ranch Motion Picture Studio.
I knew I recognized that because I worked on a project up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was. If this is what I think it is,
Westworld, Once Upon a Time, Deadwood, Django.
Yeah, they've shot a whole ton of stuff up there. If I recall correctly, I want to say that this is the location where they did part of Penny Dreadful, City of Angels, and I did a week.
Okay.
I did a week on that right before the pandemic, back in the day. Or there might be another ranch nearby, but I remember driving by Melody Ranch.
Hey, I did a week on that show as well. I'm just in like one of like the Terp scenes though, because it was the same set they used the week before when we were doing Perry Mason. That was like one of the first like months I was out here doing background.
Oh, dude, that's amazing. Yeah,
back to back.
I was Brad Garrett's stand-in for a week because he was shooting 2 different shows at once, and his regular stand-in was working on the other show Brad was on at the time. So they were like, we need somebody who's almost as tall as Brad Garrett, and I'm like, and casting actually like called me out of the blue directly because I happen to know the guy, and he's like, I know a tall guy. So that was pretty good. That was supposed to be half a day of shooting, and it turned into 10 days.
Oh, that's good. Good work. Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's amazing. And they're like, oh yeah, we gotta, I'd been talking to the writers, getting to know the directors and everything. And I was trying to just, like be inobtrusive, but nice and available and helpful. And I felt like I was making some good connections. And next thing you know, COVID hit, and that was that. Like literally like 2 weeks after the wrap party was locked down. So such a bummer.
Yeah.
I had that feeling of like 2020 is going to be my year. No.
Oh, it was just my second year out here. I was like, this is going to be my first full year. It's going to be so great.
Yeah. Yep.
We all felt that. It was just
never a dull moment. Absolutely. Of course. All right. So we got a lot of folks who are saying that they are that they're wrapped out, which is great. And also on top of that, the set here in North Hollywood at Valley Plaza is being dismantled. I actually drove by it the other day. I was driving my wife out. We were going out for dinner, and she was like, "Oh, we should go by and see like what the set looks like." And we buzzed by it on the freeway, and they were in the middle of tearing it all down. Yeah. So these are not my pictures, but they are in the middle of dismantling everything. It was very cool to see, though, especially at the height of it. All the green screens, all the cherry pickers and everything they had up, everything they had going with it. It was pretty insane watching all that stuff.
So freaking cool.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So we should talk about, though, is that while they are breaking down Valley Plaza, they did actually move base camp from North Hollywood to downtown for a while. And they shot some stuff. I'm sure it's going to be set as like Freeside or, other parts of maybe what used to be downtown Vegas. And they turned parts of downtown LA into downtown Vegas, where you see some really interesting, familiar faces.
Would that be this
one? I want to go to the one that says, hold on a second. We could go. What did I put? DTLA number 1.
Oh, I see. I got you.
Yeah.
And we're here.
And I should finish sending you the list of everything. Okay, so yeah. In the background there, or like if you look in the depth of the image, first off, you see the bus, which is pretty dope. But more importantly, did I just take myself out of here? Or can you hear me?
Here.
Okay, good. We've got the bus, but you know what you see there? Bunch of vault suits.
There we are. There's the vault suits.
Yep. Dude, I should have called Central Casting. And gotten involved in this because that looks
just for the sake of it. Like, oh, yeah, they're all hiking as well. They've got their packs ready to go. Can we tell who they are? Not really. Do you think these vault suits are going to be from? Did we lose Greg? We did lose Greg. We lost Greg.
I'm back. No, my internet crapped out for a second. I had that whole can you hear me? And then it just rebooted. So yeah, so we have
just people saying howdy. And they're excited. Well, do you think these will be Lucy's vault, or do you think this is more likely I forget the vault number of the vault that Lucy and Maximus go into?
Oh, vault 4?
Yeah, 4. There we go. I wanted to say that.
It was 3 or 4. Yeah, I think it's 4. I don't know. I'm going to be intrigued to see what happens, though. But I'm guessing at one point a vault gets evac'd and everybody gets stuck out on the surface, or maybe they complete whatever arbitrary waiting time they've been assigned, and the doors open, and now they're out on the surface. That seems pretty intriguing to me. Oh, these poor little lambs! They're going to be led right to the slaughter.
Right to the slaughter. Honestly, though, the more I look at it, it does kind of just look like LA right there for a second. Like,
I mean, certain parts of downtown are already set dressed for you, so
that's the truth.
Can't beat that.
A little close up. That's a good shot as well there.
Yeah. Here we go.
They don't look like actors that we remember from Lucy's vault.
No, this looks like background.
Mm-hmm. Not Vault 111.
No, I don't think they came all the way from Boston.
No.
They'd be wearing Red Sox hats, and there'd be a lot more aggression.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. All right. Well,
cars look good. Bus looks good.
Let's go to number 2 there. All right. Let's make sure we click through all these. But yeah, number 2. Yes, right here. And now, while we saw Vault Dwellers in the previous setup, now it looks like NCR Troopers.
Oh,
yeah. Like I said, man, we should have called Central Casting. We should have called Central Casting and tried to get in on this because, man, the number of bodies they went through for this thing.
Oh, wow.
And by the way, there is the old trick of Hollywood where they put out shooting notices and stuff like that saying, hey, we're shooting in your neighborhood. But because they don't want to attract crowds and stuff like that, they'll put out code names on the projects. The code name for Fallout Season 2 was Dakota.
Yes.
As we're seeing on some of the notices that were left around town. And they weren't exactly subtle about it because they put Dakota in the Fallout font with the lightning bolts through the O's. And I'm just like, if you know, you know.
That's nice though, because that almost encourages the people that want to be involved to go be involved as well.
Yeah. Well, and what do we think we got here? Because we got a guy with a trench coat. Oh, that looks like courier armor is what that looks like.
Either courier or ranger, maybe just a ranger without the helmet.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we got troopers and rangers. They really do lean into the troopers looking like World War I here with the bucket helmets.
It works so well.
Yeah.
I love it.
It looks dope. It looks amazing. And in what I believe is DTLA 3, we have. Oh, I think that's more.
Or this one.
4. Okay, well, yeah. First off, Blamco Mac Cheese. Looks like there's a Blamco factory here.
Drop Kims, not bombs.
Yeah. Yep. Peace, love, dope.
Or bust.
Yeah. What do we got here? Oh, yeah, that looks ice cream. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember their names, but I always love the little logos.
Oh, everywhere. Yes, that's Cappy and who's the bottle? Yeah, that's. Is
it Cappy?
Cappy? Well, maybe no. It almost that gives me "Let's Go Out to the Lobby" vibes. The animated snacks,
Yeah.
Let's
love
go
the Brody
out to the lobby. Let's go out to the lobby.
That's gonna be stuck in my head for the next week. Thank you very much.
You are certainly welcome, sir. I don't know what you did to deserve it, but you deserved it. So
wait till I just start singing "It's a Small World" just randomly at some point.
Oh, you really want to get the stream shut down that fast, huh?
That's a great point. That is a great point. Disney will strike us down even faster than Kevin Feige could. Yeah, it'll be a Bob Iger strike.
Oh, for real. And they go
what's this? What's the? I can never remember the town that you walk up to while it's burning, and it's just they've already kind of just ransacked it, and you either have a choice.
I know the one you're talking about with the lottery.
Yeah. Do you think that's this one, or do you think?
No, I mean, because that was 15 years ago was when the courier went through.
Touche.
So if it's still burning 15 years later, they got nipped in, and they got bigger problems. If that's still burning 15 years later, But that is intriguing, though. I am interested to see what this potential layout is. You see entrances. You see, are those windows? Or are they like little marquees, like almost like a theater poster kind of setup?
These look like windows in here, because this almost looks like that old AC unit. I don't know if that's supposed to be that or not, or if that's just for actually making it function on set. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to speculate on that, but that looks just cool.
Yeah, interesting.
Fight apathy or don't.
Fight apathy or don't.
I love that so much.
Ban the bomb. I do appreciate the graffiti. They put a shitload of graffiti up in North Hollywood too,
and that stays.
And that stays. It looks like that they're not removing any of that stuff.
Oh. Brit's called Brody helmets Tommy helmets.
Oh, okay.
There are going to be plenty of Tommy helmets around there.
Yeah, a lot of Tommy helmets in this.
Everyone's gone Blamco again.
Oh, wow.
I like the fallen statue.
That gives very do not open dead inside vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what is it? Do not dead open inside?
Yes. Do not dead open inside.
Walking Dead will never live that down just for writing it the way they did.
Never. They'll never live that down. Blamco Mac. I mean, to be fair, they were locking up a bunch of zombies. They were in a bit of a rush, So
That's
give them a break.
At least they labeled it.
That's true. That's true. I couldn't get. I mean, I know Walking Dead's a brilliant show and everybody loves it. I couldn't get past the pilot. I tried. I was. I just don't like zombie horror. So,
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, could you do Last of Us?
I haven't been watching it. I haven't had time. Like if I'm behind on Andor and I haven't watched I haven't seen Captain America and I really want to like I missed it in theaters and I'm just so behind right now because work is this is the tough part about being a creator and working 24/7 is that you miss out on shit and there's it's
constant stream of said shit that is flowing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think 2026, maybe I'll take a little bit of a break. Although now that I've done New York, Brett and Aaron are talking to me about bringing Batter Up My Brain on Baseball to the New York Fringe next year. So, they want to go next April. So we'll see what happens.
The second you say I want to take a break, that's when you get 10 times as busy.
Yeah, so I want to take a break, universe. I want to take a break that ends me up on a TV set as a series regular. That'd be great. So yeah, if you could
as a ghoul or super mutant in a certain show somewhere, universe.
I can work and do effects. It's fine. It's great. I can handle prosthetics. It wouldn't be the first time I've done suit acting. I did. Oh my God, 20-something years ago, I was in a really, really, really bad movie that turned into a sci-fi movie of the week. That I was like some sort of stormtrooper in like red armor, and my claim to fame was in one shot. Don the Dragon Wilson drove a knife through my neck. That was a great time, and everybody on that set was so freaking nice. At least in terms of the cast, the director was a little, but everybody else was really cool. So
yeah, that happens, but that's always like I like sets where character actors get to shine, and then you get to kind of be there on the days where they get to shine too. Is just when it's play come to life. It's just having a good time.
Yep, absolutely. And Peter, you never catch up. You just have to let it. Yeah, facts.
Is the truth. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, probably. It probably cost him about much. Actually, and I do want to say that I did find some information about the tax incentives. It is good to see California cutting deals again because they got $153 million tax credit. $153 million in tax credits from the state.
Fallout alone?
Fallout did. Yeah. Yep. There's an article in Collider. Yes, just for season 2, they got $153 million tax credit to film back in California. So this is what we have to do to bring production back to LA.
Damn right.
This is what they got to do, guys. Like we need this stuff. We got to. California is the number 4 economy in the world. You could be mad at it, but you can't deny it.
Yeah.
And when we have that kind of power and flexibility, we have to be able to use that because production costs a lot. Sure. People be like, why do these guys need tax credits? It's not just about what the shows cost. It's about what they do to the local economy and do for the local economy. All those crew people need food every day. It keeps it keeps caterers in business. All the locations that they shoot get paid. All the equipment rentals, all the makeup artists, everybody, all these people who've been sitting around and waiting for work to come back since 2020.
For the last 4 years.
Yeah, who have been suffering in silence and waiting. Well, and not even really in silence, but who've been suffering and waiting. It's sure, it's like, oh my God, why do these big companies need the tax credits? But if it brings the work back to here and it brings the money back circulating into this city, this is what we got to do. So I'm really glad to see California stepping up and bringing the tax credits back and making us competitive with not just Atlanta and the Northeast again, but there are so many TV shows shooting in Eastern Europe right now because it's cheaper currently to fly an entire production to Eastern Europe. Angeles.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and sure. Quest, you mentioned that the 25% credit and everything. That's a reason why they're shooting. They're moving. They're just doing whole company moves to Dublin and shooting in Dublin because it's cheaper to fly people to Dublin to shoot than it is to shoot in the U.S. at the moment. So,
Well, not necessarily a U.S. based show, but Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power. Said, hey, we spent $1 billion on a set to build in New Zealand, and we're immediately moving to the UK next because they got the tax break instead. It was like,
there you go.
You spent how much building a big old thing, and it looks great still.
Yeah.
Writing might be a little iffy still, but it looks great. But yeah, and then obviously with Fallout, that's one that you can't really go to the UK and get a tax break for.
You totally could. You could do. I mean, you could do UK. You could do Eastern Europe and make it look like. Yeah, you could. Absolutely, 100%.
Do you think the UK or Eastern Europe has maybe Eastern Europe, but do you think UK has like sands that could fit Nevada and
this is where CGI comes into place and green screen and other stuff. Because if they could save $1, they'll try it. It doesn't matter if it looks good. You know,
that's true.
That's the thing, is that you have to think about the fact that Hollywood's run by accountants. Hollywood is 100% run by accountants. It's artists being held hostage by bean counters. That is the entertainment industry in a nutshell.
Jeremy Renner, I saw, just had a little clip of him going on some podcast saying like, we were going to do a Hawkeye season 2, but they wanted to pay me half of what I was paid for season 1. And I can't.
Just because I got run over by my own snowplow doesn't mean I'm half the actor I used to be. Yeah, I saw that. Well, and I also feel like that was, if they made an offer like that, they weren't serious about doing a season 2, and they just needed him. They wanted to put the blame on him for not doing it. That's
either scapegoating or just feelers and never mind, real quick, you know.
That's scapegoating 100%. Because then they could be like, well, Jeremy Renner demanded too much money. He demanded his same paycheck that he got from season 1. You know, but they can spin it in the press as like, well, it's not our fault. We're not the ones who killed this project.
Yeah.
But it's that, it's that kind of talking out of both sides of your mouth kind of bullshit that drives me insane about this industry.
It's the whole, I get it's a nice greeting, but also every time I hear someone say, "Oh, it's nice to see you," it's like it just makes me roll my eyes. I'm like, you don't know who I am. You're just pretending like you do. Or maybe you don't have an idea, but that's when you reintroduce yourself real quick and just have a human moment instead of like, hey, bullshit, bye, and just keep going.
Yeah.
And like, it's too common out here, but hopefully it changes.
Well, and everybody, and the amount of people that you wind up meeting and collaborating with or just being in the same vicinity with, I mean,
it's a lot.
It is a lot. And God, I have a business where I deal with, every spring, I deal with 40 or 50 brand new producers, most of whom I've never met before. But it always, I always have my heart stop, because at least once or twice a year, someone will come up to me and start talking to me like they know me really well, and I just don't recognize them. And I'm just like, and I'll normally just let them talk for a minute or two, because they'll quickly usually be like, oh my God, when we rented your space, or when, but sometimes it's like, I'm like, you're talking about a project that I worked on, and I just don't remember you. Like,
you're just waiting for the context clue you recognize.
I'm like, please drop a context clue, because I'm fucking lost, And I hate being that guy, and I always want to be nice, but just like the sheer amount of people that I on the one hand, I hear you. On the other hand, the amount of people that we interact with, because of the nature of this business and how transient and collaborative it is, like how just the sheer volume of people that we get introduced to, it's tough to keep track of people. I just tell people, I'm like, look, I'm bad with faces and names, guys. Like I'm upfront about it. I try not to be that asshole. I don't ever want to fake it, but sometimes they'll be talking like they know me really well, and then I find out like they mostly know Jen really well, my wife and business partner, and they're like, oh, she talked all about you, and like I met them at their tech, Yeah, they were in the room while I was programming their lights, and I was like, oh, okay.
Now I get it.
I get it. So we don't know each other, but but so nice to see you. I hear you. At the same time, that is sometimes like the safety net that you need to be like, I don't want to be an asshole right now, but I have no fucking clue who you are.
Well, okay, if someone's coming up to you for something like that, that's particular, and I can see that. But there is a little bit of context when it's just like meeting people at a party or something.
Yeah,
it still is just the biggest eye roll for me, because you know what, I get it. Hey, most of us are actors or actor adjacent, something like that. It's okay to be embarrassed for half a moment. I honestly, it ingratiates the other person to you. Like
having a little bit of vulnerability in this town, everybody's like, oh my God, they'll go right for your throat, but sometimes like I have the most genuine connections when I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like I feel like
I
I
had
should
to reintroduce myself to like I think one couple and like 2 other people, I guess, throughout I just 2 like I guess 4 or 3 separate times, 4 different people that are just totally stuck in my head that have happened out here. And now I'm good friends with all those people and know them better because I took that moment, was like, hey, I met you at a bar or met you at a party, we were drinking, whatever, we were talking movies. Oh, we were talking movies, and catch up and something like that. But
yeah,
at that point, I like to take the second and be like, oh, my bad, let me reintroduce real quick.
Yeah.
Just like you said, so much networking, so many people, and
yeah, I think everybody gets hung up on maintaining that perfect image and never showing any sort of flaws or vulnerability. And actually, you know what? Really quick side. Hey, Sarah. It's really quick, just sidebar here. I hate going to networking events, especially like industry networking event at this bar. Like every once in a while I'll drop in on them just to be like, I want to meet some new people, but or because I know, or there's someone who's going to be there that I am trying to connect with, and I'm like, cool. It's my mission to meet you, talk with you, buy you a drink, and just chill. And and that and doing that works out really well for me normally, because I can, like I walk in and man on a mission and I get the mission done. But I went to this one networking event a couple of years ago, and I was standing in line outside the bar waiting to get in, big ass line. And I'm standing there, I'm like, I don't know anybody. I'm all stressed out. Like, I don't want to fucking be here. And the guy behind me says, man, coming to these things when you don't know anybody is really fucking awkward, isn't it? And I turned and laughed, and like 3 other people turned and laughed around me, and we all just started talking. And suddenly it was like, that's it. Like you had that shared moment of like, yeah, this is fucking awkward. And then we're all like connected on that. It was, I got to remember that line because it was such a great icebreaker. It didn't put anybody on the spot, and everybody just turned and had that moment of like, yes, it is.
How did you know exactly what I was thinking? Yeah,
exactly. So, and that turned into a great night, so it was like, you just got to get through that initial awkwardness, and then bam, but that was like the perfect thing to be said. And I was very, very fortunate to be like right next to the guy, and we got to talking. Dude's a pro wrestler and was there trying to connect with people to meet in Hollywood. And now I follow him on Insta, and he's like a fucking tag team champion for some league in Florida and stuff, so I think he's done a couple of spots for AEW and a few other groups. So it's good to see him and his career rising too. That is, and of course, yeah, we all did what they call the LA handshake, the Hollywood handshake, and that was, what's your Insta? So yeah.
Which honestly, that is my worst thing. I will have a conversation with people for 4 hours and completely forget to ask for their Instagram or anything like that, when it's the most simple thing to do. I get caught up in the people aspect of it. I don't know. Little ADD.
No, facts. Yeah, it is crazy. Where were we? We should be talking about
back to Blamco Mac and Cheese.
Blamco Mac. Let's get back to mac and cheese. Oh my God! When I was in New York, one night we did a company dinner at this place called Smack, and it's S''Mac, so it's like it's Mac, and it's all just mac and cheese in cast iron skillets, and you could order it wherever you want. I had like a hamburger mac and cheese, like a hamburger helper kind of setup with just like ground beef and American cheese in it. It was just so good. So if I had to have my survival wasteland food, I would die eating radioactive Blamco mac and cheese, 100%. Yep.
If you are a ghoul, you're fine.
Oh, that's true. I'm a ghoul. I look really good for that. I still have my nose.
Blamco is possible.
Yeah. But then if I'm a ghoul, do I even need to eat the Blamco? No. That's a bummer.
You just like it.
That's true. Yeah. No, I like that. Okay.
And you get to screw over as many humans that might need that food as possible.
Oh, that's true. I'll just like leave a bowl of it out, like piping hot, and then just
to torture people. Yeah, there you go.
Surprise.
Sarah's with you.
Mac and cheese.
David did ask, have they announced how many episodes are in Fallout Season 2 yet?
I have not found any information on that.
I just Googled it, and it does say 8. Amazon said 8 episodes, like Season 1.
Oh, dope. All right. Well, I do want to talk about one of the other big things that I saw coming out of. I'm gonna share it in the chat again, because when I crashed out, I lost my private chat archive. But this is one of the big spoiler here.
Oh, is it this one?
Yeah, it's big spoiler. But the NCR apparently is getting their own model of power armor. Ain't that a thing? It's looked like a mix between Courier and Power Armor, and or rather NCR Ranger and Power Armor. I think it looks dope. I know that they were guys. I mean, like neckbeard's gonna neckbeard and argue about anything and everything, but there were a lot of folks that were actually against this for some reason. Somebody went so far as to call it cultural appropriation of the Brotherhood of Steel, and I'm like, bro, it's a TV show. You got to calm the fuck down. Yeah. But I think that this is cool. I think it actually makes sense at one point for I think that they could salvage power. I think this is salvaged armor that they've done modifications on and done a new paint job and built a new helmet. That's all I need to know. But the NCR having their own power armor units, especially if they're at war with the Brotherhood in season 2, that makes sense to me. Because if Fallout 4 is any sort of example, there's just abandoned suits of power armor sitting all over the goddamn place.
Well, that's the freaking truth. Fallout 4 has 20 suits of power.
More than that. Yeah, they got. There's a whole map that I. That's one of my fun things to do is just like open up a map and go out and like find everything of one particular item. And I was doing a power armor run at one point, and I was just like, this shit's everywhere. So. I wish, Quest. I wish I was in Now You See Me, Now You Don't. That'd be fun.
I love that. I'm surprised it took him to the 3rd movie to get that title.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That's the greatest trick I ever pulled is making you believe that I was in it but not there.
I like the look of this a whole bunch, but I don't know if it makes sense with the. I mean, I'm assuming they have to introduce that Moldaver was not like the head honcho that was left of the NCR, and that was one small little group of the NCR that was left, and that was one little small outpost.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that they lost Shady Sands and have a whole bunch of power suit armors, and were able to have the resources and people to man them and to build them and that. That might be a little bit of a plot hole in my brain until we see like, okay, Shady Sands left, and the bulk of people, or there was a military group that y'all had sent towards the Mojave that came back and maybe they were out and about while the Shady Sands bomb happened, and then they left and splintered off, and now NCR is a little bit more militaristic or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like in my head canon, and until proven otherwise, this is my theory, is that this is scavenged armor that they've then taken pieces of whatever they can find and just styled it in, like repaired it using their own style and aesthetic, which is why it looks like Ranger armor.
If that's the case, do you think it's only one suit of armor for the NCR?
I mean, this says 7 on it, so maybe not, but who knows? I don't know. I mean, they've been going for a long time, so I imagine that they probably scavenged some suits and maybe they've reverse engineered how to build their own, but from what I do understand, I have not been able to find much on story leaks. So I don't know, like we've seen shots of the NCR, we've seen shots of the Vault Dwellers. We have some pictures of Legionnaires from Caesar's Legion. Like there's a whole bunch of that stuff floating around. There's a big mix of theories about where in the timeline this happens. Is it present day with the Ghoul and Lucy and everybody, or is it flashbacks? And I feel like it's a mix. When you see what they were doing, I can't get like a beat on where this stuff is in the timeline.
Yeah, because if that NCR armor is a little bit in the past, it might make more sense. Not necessarily game-wise, but it would make more sense in some ways. But even if it's not, like you just said, they could totally be scavenging that kind of stuff. And
yeah, but yeah, I can't tell if that and then the shots of the Legionnaires and the Rangers and everybody in the NCR and the Vault Dwellers, where that is in the timeline. Do we think that that's flashbacks, or do we think that that's modern day? And the rumors that I've heard is that it's all modern day and the factions are still at a bit of a standoff right now. So maybe what they're canonizing as the ending of season or of Fallout New Vegas is a version of the of like house winning, I guess, where the NCR has the dam, but they don't have New Vegas. And the Legion might have turned around and gone back to hold the East. Maybe this is where they tell Lanius, like, if you expand further west, the East is going to fall. And they passes that DC 100 speech check. So yeah. So I'm thinking. So that it's got a bit of a detente at that point that's been going on, but 15 years is a long ass time for that. In this kind of post, I mean. Modern day, that kind of detente, not necessarily too long. I mean, technically, we're still in a state of war with Korea, because there's never been a formal end of that. But the
15 years in the wasteland,
but in a post-apocalyptic wasteland where everything is scarce, like having that kind of conflict brewing. When resources are scarce and dwindling, like 15 years seems untenable at that point. So, yeah, Quest. I'm kind of with you on that. It does have a little bit of a Warhammer vibe, a little bit of Warhammer 40K, or Dark Trooper. Absolutely. That's a great question. They specifically tell. There's so much like of the jingoistic symbolism within Fallout that we could go through. That is like a uniquely American perspective. Yeah. But at one point, I do want to get more information, more canon information on what happened in the rest of the world, Because, I mean, we could talk about Fallout London. We could talk about Fallout Nueva Mexico and some of these other projects. Sadly, a whole bunch of which have been canceled because people are like, holy shit, building even DLC is ridiculous, especially as a volunteer effort,
Oh, I mean, Sky Oblivion took the last 8 or 10 years, and now the Oblivion remaster came in at the same time.
Talk about a dick punch, yeah.
But at least they're like they were all given keys to the game and stuff. So that's nice and all. But like, what you said, Nueva Mexico is not happening.
They're like, sit down, kids. Let's show you how the pros do it.
Which Sky Oblivion, I'm assuming, is still going to look awesome.
Sure.
But
yeah,
I'm so happy the Oblivion remaster's there too.
Yeah,
mostly because I have a console. I'm not going to play on a PC. So
yeah, I think I'd go console on it too.
Well,
Europe certainly would not be the same.
Even if they don't show us like a Fallout London or something like that, like I don't necessarily want to see like a Fallout game or something like that. And I obviously would love to see that, but we obviously know Bethesda said we want, and Todd Howard said we want it to be like an American focused thing. Like there's so much stuff to cover within that, especially with Canada being part of the US. There's a lot you can do with that as well. That being said, still we want to know why China did the things it did. Was Korea allied with China at the time, or was it allied with us? Was it split north and south?
And the official lore says China shot first, but now we're seeing possibly Vault-Tec shot first. Like,
or at least coerce them to shoot first, one or the other, like kind of force their hands.
Like third-party agitator, like false flag. I mean, I want to. I feel like that's going to be one of those questions that they never answer because it's too good a mystery, and it's like if you answer the mystery, then the whole thing starts to lose its shine, So
allow it to be the chicken and the egg. Just
exactly, because it also it speaks to the experience of the post-apocalyptic world where it's like, all this information that you used to have at your fingertips, everything that you used to know, you don't have access to that anymore, and now you're dealing with great unknowns, But one thing that's not an unknown, and here's a little segue for you because I know we're getting close to that time where I'm going to have to get going in a minute. The other big spoiler that everybody's talking about is that at one point a gigantic beast goes rampaging through the New Vegas Strip, and it's a damn Deathclaw.
Oh no shit!
Yeah,
that'll be fun to see.
Yep, they actually
Yao Guai and Michael, whatever his name is that I can't think of right now. whatever the actor's name is. But no, the Yagwai was sick. A Deathclaw is going to.
Oh yeah, no, they're doing Deathclaws, and part of it is practical. David, you're talking about this painting right here. This is a painting of a ninja koala bear, and this is actually this was something I commissioned from an artist because I wrote a children's musical years and years ago, and it's like all kind of geeky themed, and it's superheroes, and the bad guy has ninja koalas as a henchman, as hench bears. So I commissioned a painting of the ninja koalas, or a ninja koala.
You need to watch Stargate now, because now those are going to be the new furlings.
Yeah, no, 100%. So they are the greatest and most lazy ninjas ever. They're stoned and sleeping all the time. So
koalas.
Yeah, koalas.
But and they all have chlamydia, don't they?
That is lots of chlamydia, but they'll go off. They'll fall asleep on a branch. And then when you're not looking, they'll go and like do a ninja assassination, then be still on the branch like they never moved. It's like that bit from oh my god, what Michael Cera in the anime adaptation, Scott Pilgrim.
Okay.
Yeah, who's the best friend who's always like, what like they're not looking at him, and like suddenly they're getting a text message and they look back and he's got his phone out and it's already like, yeah,
it's completely already done.
Yeah, that was Kieran Culkin. That was Kieran Culkin. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm so glad is actually having a little renaissance for himself.
Absolutely. Oh man, and when I was in New York, dude, I looked into tickets for Glengarry Glen Ross. I mean, I looked in and I was just like $600 for a Wednesday matinee. Fuck that. I just don't have that kind of money. Like, I spent so much money getting us there. I was like, I don't have money for that. But I did go see 20-Sided Tavern, which was dope as hell.
Cool.
For the D&D fans in the house right now, I did go see 20-Sided Tavern. Sadly, it's closing May 11th. But I really enjoyed catching that, and I'm glad I got to see it. And they had Anjali Bhamani as like the special guest cast member when I was there. So that was pretty cool. So $600, damn. Yeah, $600 for like fucking it wasn't even a great seat. I think it was ridiculous. But it's an all-star cast going, because you got Bill Burr, you got David McKean, you got Kieran Culkin and Bob Odenkirk.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, dude. It's all heavy hitters. It's all heavy hitters. But I'm not paying fucking Denzel prices. I just can't. No. I just don't have that kind of bread.
The only thing I can think of that I don't know if I as much as I love theater and love film, I don't know if I could pay $600 to go to a play. Like
I can't justify it.
The only thing I can think of off the top of my head that I would be willing to do that, there are two things. If Fleetwood Mac gets back together, or if or I go see like another Eagles concert or something like that. Those would be something like that. That would be the only two things I'd be like, okay, I'm only buying one ticket for myself, and anybody else wants to come can come and buy their own ticket. But
I dropped $200 to go see Tool, but that was for me and a friend of mine. But that was like the most I've spent on a concert ticket in recent memory, and that was worth every penny.
Well, yeah, $200 seems like a good like high price concert. The only reason I would go Eagles or Fleetwood Mac is because that's like one of those last times you'll ever be able to see him.
Yeah, facts. It's like going to see John Williams at the Bowl, but even that's only like $80.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Perfect example, actually.
Yep, exactly.
But at this point, if I get a chance to see Eagles, I'm gonna do it, because the last time I saw the Eagles, Glenn Frey died like 10 concerts later. So one of his last few concerts, I was like, okay, Eagles are Eagles, got to do that one.
Yeah.
But that's just insane.
Yep. Quest, you're talking about drop bears. Yep. Yep.
They're dangerous.
Exactly. That's hence why I made the koala bear the assassins in my show. Assassins, minions. It's a children's musical. Nobody's getting killed, but the hero does like feed them branches of eucalyptus and puts them to sleep, and that's how they escape at one point. And then it's like, wait, you fed the bears? That's very dangerous. You can't just tell the kids to go feed drop bears. Like, what are you doing? So, yeah.
Turns out they all loved it. Like, it actually works. That's great.
Yeah. So it's a fun show. I love it. It's published by Sam French, and it gets put up around North America like at least once or twice every other year. So
that's nice.
I get a random check enough like in the fall every year, enough to pay my phone bill. So Yep. I know my koalas. So I do want to go. It's actually my dream to go to the LA Zoo and get to hold a koala bear. Like that is like a bucket list item for me.
Can you do that?
I don't think they let you just go and hug a koala bear, but I would love to get to arrange it at one point. That's a goal. That's a dream. So, yeah, if there's any way I could ever arrange that, that would be like the greatest birthday present ever. By the way, my birthday is in 3 weeks. So
everybody send this to LA Zoo. I was about to say the editor, the publisher for the LA Zoo. That's the LA Times. That's the wrong thing.
Yeah. Close though.
Whoever's in charge of the LA Zoo coordination, we all need to email them immediately. Y'all heard it here. Anybody that's coming in the future, y'all know what to do. Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going through the other pictures and stuff. I know we're getting close to that time, but there's lots of pictures of the set active, and then now that they're wrapping it. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the one that I was looking for, because you know how I just talked about the Deathclaw. Yeah, I'm gonna send you one in the chat right now. In the private chat. There you go. Take a look at that. Pull that up.
This one. And share this tab instead.
There we go.
Ooh, good old claw marks.
Yep. Big old claw marks.
And they waited to put those till they started
like Legion Red right there too. So, that's the front of the Lucky 38. So
not so lucky this time.
But apparently Deathclaw goes rampaging through. That's the wait. Is that a body of a Deathclaw like right there in the center? Did they just leave that practical just laying there? Hold on.
I don't think so.
I have too many links open. Hold on.
Now I'm scrolling through.
I'm going through. I have 35 links open right now, and some of them are video. And where did those all go? New BTS.
I don't know if any of these look like a Deathclaw is in there.
Oh, hold on. Now, okay, I got the right one. Big props to Just Bottle Digging, by the way. Thank you for. Oh yeah, no, that's just tumbleweed.
Aye.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Tumbleweed. All right.
Michael Angelos.
Love it.
Okay.
Somebody fed a bear once. Now we can't get rid of him. Bloody Paddington. Yeah. They tend to do that. I feel like bears are like cats. If you feed them enough, they just stick around and act like they own the place.
Yeah.
So
just giant cats.
Yep.
Honestly, I guess they are so much more dog-like in a lot of ways, but temperamental-wise, they are cats in a big way.
Yeah.
They're like, we're friendly when we feel like being friendly, and
when we don't,
don't piss us off.
We're just gonna break you. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. My cat this morning, I was like petting it, having a hey, waking up this morning. My cat just decided to bite my finger and didn't let go, and I was like, "You little shit bird! What are you
doing?" They're good like that. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Vicious things.
All right. All this glass at the Tops Casino. So this looks like at one point the shattered glass and everything. It implies that there's been some sort of attack on the strip. I mean, I think that's clear because we see extras in Legion armor, we see extras in NCR outfits, all of them on the set. It looks like there was some sort of conflict. They were shooting all night, every night for weeks for a while, up in NoHo. Oh, David sent you a picture of a Deathclaw, apparently.
Let me see if I can find it. Just on Facebook real quick.
David, where'd you send it?
Oh, found it. Literally, I opened up the thing. I was trying to find the right tab, and I found it right here.
Perfect timing.
Can I copy and paste this to a different? We're about to find out.
Hey, Bailey.
Loading. Okay. Should be able to bring it up now, though. Oh, wait. Where'd you send this? It was literally just right there. Am I crazy? Yeah, it's in our chat, but now it's not showing up in our chat on this version of it. So confused. I guess there's still a couple more little photos right here while I'm trying to pull this thing up.
Yeah. There is a ton of stuff out there. So yeah, again, big shout out to the FOTV subreddit for compiling all this stuff and everybody putting it all together. There's like 6 different Fallout subreddits or, doing TV coverage. So there's a lot of cross posting, but you really do have to go scouring to find, to get a sense of everything. But they are really good about putting all the latest in there. So makes our job easy. Incredibly grateful for all that.
So grateful. It makes it so nice. I think
and these things look dope. I mean, I feel like that the practicals, and I know that there's tons of green screen stuff happening because they had the big ass green screens up on cranes and things. Like they were doing huge amounts of work on what looked to be a giant shoot. I think that there's going to be a while that we have to wait on post production for this. Hence why I'm saying, we'll see in about a year. But I feel like that they did a lot with practicals, and I love and appreciate how much they did with that. Have that real tactile storytelling as opposed to CGI. I'm really glad that they were actually going out, shooting on location as opposed to just building everything in the volume or something,
Yeah. Instead of going just like, not necessarily the simple route, but the lazy route in a way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the volume is great, but the volume also has its limitations, and you can tell when something is shot in the volume because they don't go beyond a certain plane, and there's only certain elements that they actually interact with, and everything else just feels like a video set dressing, So yeah.
Here's that Deathclaw, by the way.
Oh, that's dope.
Did you actually get this, David? It looks like 3D printed, like you have it in the house or something. It looks great, like really good. There we go. That throws me off for half a second. I'm like, but no, that Deathclaw looks awesome. Maybe just show it on your phone like you did with the Stargate cast joke. Oh, yeah, honestly, that would have been a smarter idea. I know you got to start moving here in a second, Greg.
Yeah, but
there was one other photo you shared that we haven't talked about yet.
Oh, which one?
This
one.
Oh,
yeah, the Legionnaires. Yeah. Caesar's Legion, Caesar's Legion. They do have a few of them. I've seen a couple of pictures of them, and it does look like that there's a lot of red banners. At one point, they actually had the New Vegas Strip decked out in red banners. So that makes me think that at one point, Caesar's Legion does lay claim to it.
Okay, because I was going to ask.
Could be in current season 2, current time. They did talk about how it was all decked out in red banners, but again, people are being really squirrely, and the security is really tight on the set and the story, and nobody knows if that's flashback that's been resolved or if it's modern times and an evolution, and like one of the big plot points where Kaiser finally gets the strip. Like, who knows? So I'm intrigued. I'm actually, the funny thing is that normally I love going into watching shows and movies with I don't even like watching trailers anymore. Like, if I know something's coming, I'm just going to sit and watch it with as little information as possible because I like that kind of surprise and wonder. But with this, sure, Deathclaws, sure, NCR power armor. Like, there's a lot of things that I'm sure are big gasp reveals. Like, oh my God. But this has given me so many more questions, and I'm actually kind of hyped for it.
Yeah,
I'm actually it makes me even more hyped for it than it is than I thought it would. So I'm super excited for that. So I really want to know where they're on the timeline. And but yeah, these guys, this looks like a friggin' Caesar's Legion assassination squad running around. Yeah.
Don't turn around that corner.
No. So I'm super excited, dude. They've really nailed the look and the vibe of all of it.
They look great. Initially, just from the gameplay perspective, because Caesar's Legion is the worst people ever. Mm-hmm. They're really entertaining and an awesome villain, but they're pretty awful people most of the time. So naturally, my first instinct is no, screw this, F this, but also That makes for such a more interesting story. Like, it's gonna piss me off that Caesar won or something. However, it ends up happening. Nonetheless, though, it's gonna make for such a more interesting story. Having to get past and through all that BS too. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's just all these little inklings. Thankfully, this isn't some brand new show. If this was a brand new show and this was like all we got off of it, okay, well now we can kind of like have an idea what it's going to look like. This is fun because it's not super spoilery, but we can just gauge because we have so much context just from the IP in general that we're just like, ooh, how could this do this? How?
What this gauges for us is how much fidelity they have for the original source material, and it looks like a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, which is great, which is what we want, you know. Although, yeah, the guys who were butthurt about NCR Power Armor, it's like, you got to give people room to tell some stories, man, you know, and they got to be able to do something interesting and a little unexpected with it. And I can justify the NCR having power armor with no problem, especially when it gets left all over the fucking place.
Well, especially if those same people are the people that are like, hey, canon, you got to stick to it. And within canon, like you said, Fallout 4's got easily 20 suits of power armor plus. And if every third raider boss over the last few years has been able to find some power armor like they have in Fallout 4.
Why can't the NCR and use their resources to modify and fix it up?
One really cool...
Of course, it'll look like the rest of their armor if they're using their own stock of replacement parts to do it.
Yeah. And one really cool thing that they can do, which I hope they lean into, because there is the slightest of plot holes with the Ghoul in season 1. Whenever he is in the town with Maximus and just essentially messing and just effing around with the freaking Brotherhood and shooting them all up. And then the second he sees the Brotherhood later, he goes, oh, yeah, there's a kink in that armor. Let me shoot it in the one exact spot it should be. Why wasn't he doing that at the beginning of the show? Well, it would have lost cool stuff. But
because it wasn't dramatically appropriate. You know, exactly. I recognize that, you know, a lot of people use the same argument of like, wow, in Thor Love and Thunder, if he can give his powers to, spoilers, he can give his whole power set to a whole bunch of kids. Why didn't he do that to fight Thanos' army? It's like, guys, sometimes you just have to appreciate the story for what it is and let people get away with some cool shit and just suspend disbelief.
Just enough, yeah. And thankfully, this, I think, will give them a little bit of a nuance within that and say, hey, they've been putting together this power armor and they've been scrapping it together. Guess what it doesn't have? That same kink in the armor. Maybe this is one power armor suit that the Ghoul just cannot get past.
Yeah, could be. The other, I mean, and I actually really appreciated how I took that scene more like, oh, kink in the armor as a representation of VATS. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I took that as a representation of him having the VATS ability and just being able to like slow down and hit with such precision.
Lucy using some VATS this next season would be cool to see.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of hard to show, but it'd be so cool.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't know if this got coverage anywhere. Well, I mean, I know that's gotten coverage in other places, but it is cool to see that now with the popularity of Walton Goggins' Ghoul, how ghouls are now playable in Fallout 76. So
yeah,
big props to that.
That's sick.
Yeah. Quest, I mean, your question in the chat is very off topic, but I don't think that there's anything they can do if Steamboat Willie Mickey is now in public domain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think they got to deal with it. Yeah, it is what it is, but this is the reason why they keep doing the redesign so they can keep the copyright rolling.
But does that mean we can have Steamboat Willie in season 2 of Fallout?
I mean, theoretically, yes. So
Steamboat Willie and Grognak the Barbarian are having a new
quite the throwdown. Yeah, absolutely.
Cosmo and Jangles are going to come in for the sequel.
There you go.
I don't remember any of the others off the top of my head.
Awesome. All righty, guys. Well, hey, we will be back in 2 weeks with our next episode. I'm working on getting a couple of very special interviews lined up for the next 2 episodes here. Hopefully we'll be able to get some responses on that and get those lined up, more information as they drop. But one of them is going to be Ideally, I'm working to talk to the owners of the Pioneer Saloon in Good Springs, talk about, what it is to be running a bar in the middle of nowhere, and how they've actually turned like this dusty location 20 miles away from the nearest freeway in the middle of the Nevada desert, in the Mojave Desert, into a mecca that gamers descend upon at least once a quarter, and what they've been doing to foster that sense of community. Very excited to talk with them. And then also talking to the head of a group of cosplayers that focus on the Fallout cosplaying, and what that is to help to like be a cornerstone of the fandom in that regard. So really super excited for that.
Because they're from Arizona and they make the trip up there and the trek out there to the middle of the Mojave Desert.
Yep.
Quarterly. And it's insane the amount of people that, like you said, in the middle of nowhere are able to have, a mecca's a good word for it. It's just
everybody making the
oasis. Yeah. It's awesome.
So hopefully we'll get those 2 interviews lined up for the next 2 episodes. And if not, I'm sure there'll be plenty of other stuff to talk about. Who knows? Fallout 3 Remaster might drop in the meantime. We might all get a little distracted. We'll see. And actually, folks, let us know if the Fallout 3 Remaster drops, or even a New Vegas Remaster drops, God willing. Would you want to see playthroughs? Well, I mean, let us know what you'd want to see like that. Do you want to see us rocking out and playing that, or do you want to just have us be talking heads? Let us know. All right. I do know that that when we get the release date for season 2, my plan is to do a rewatch and breakdown of all of season 1 in preparation.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we can easily get that locked in and make that happen. So.
Hell yeah.
All righty, guys. Well, hey, that's it for this week. We'll see you guys in a fortnight. Until then, take care. Take care of yourselves and each other. Keep your heads down. Keep calm. Carry on. We'll see you soon.
Well, yeah, I don't necessarily have the best with playthroughs in the past, but Fallout's different. We'll play with that. Only housekeeping for the week, y'all. Of course, Sci-Fi Sundays this Sunday. Tomorrow, Sunday is also May 4th, so we're going to be doing something crazy for that.
Oh, yeah.
We would like to do an Andor Afterthoughts tomorrow. Trying to get the Afterthoughts crew and the SciTrek main crew together, figure out best time for that. Probably about 10 or 11, like typical Pacific time, 5 or 6 UK time for y'all. But yes, Sunday. Be prepared. Sci-Fi Sunday will be the end of the Chevron Awards. Or maybe we could even push it off for a week and just really focus on Star Wars this week and try to get some more votes in there too. But yeah, we'll keep you posted. That's our housekeeping. A lot of Star Wars stuff happening in the next few days, and Sci-Fi Sundays is typical. Yeah.
Awesome.
I believe that is it from us, huh?
Yep. We'll see you on the next one.
It's been the Radical Wasteland Podcast.